In this episode, we look at incident response preparation, which is the work an organization does before a security incident happens so people are not improvising during a crisis. Incident response can sound like it begins when an alert fires, malware spreads, data is exposed, or a system goes offline. But the real foundation is built earlier. Preparation includes training people, writing playbooks, practicing decisions, defining communication paths, and making sure each role knows what to do when pressure is high. When preparation is weak, even skilled people can lose time trying to decide who owns the response, who should be notified, what evidence to preserve, and what actions are safe. When preparation is strong, the organization can move with more confidence. The goal is not to predict every possible event perfectly. The goal is to be ready enough that confusion does not become the attacker's advantage. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is part of our companion study series. The first book is a detailed study guide that explains the exam and helps you prepare for it with confidence. The second is a Kindle-only ebook with 1,000 flashcards you can use on your mobile device or Kindle for quick review. You can find both at Cyber.Me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. Incident response preparation starts with accepting that incidents are not rare surprises in modern security. Phishing, malware, stolen credentials, misconfigurations, service outages, insider misuse, and third-party compromise can all create situations that require a coordinated response. Preparation helps the organization decide ahead of time how it will recognize, report, investigate, contain, communicate, and recover from those situations. This matters because technical decisions and business decisions often collide during an incident. A security team may want to isolate a system quickly, while a business owner may worry about service disruption. Legal staff may need evidence preserved. Communications staff may need accurate language for customers or partners. Leadership may need a clear risk summary. Preparation gives these groups a shared starting point before stress and time pressure make every decision harder. Training is one of the most basic preparation activities because people cannot follow a response process they do not understand. Training helps people recognize potential incidents, report them through the right channels, and understand their own responsibilities. Security staff may need deeper training on investigation, evidence handling, containment options, and tool use. Help desk staff may need to recognize suspicious account activity, phishing reports, and unusual user complaints. Managers may need to understand escalation expectations and decision-making responsibilities. Regular employees may need to know how to report a suspicious email, lost device, or unexpected login notification. Training should be practical and role-based. The person answering a support call does not need the same detail as a forensic investigator, but both need enough understanding to avoid delays and mistakes. Training also helps reduce panic by making the unfamiliar feel more manageable. During a real incident, people may receive urgent messages, confusing technical details, and incomplete information. If they have never practiced the process, they may hesitate, overreact, or contact the wrong people. Good training gives them a mental path to follow. It explains what information to collect, what not to change, who to notify, and when to escalate. It also helps people understand that early reports do not need to be perfect. A user who notices something suspicious should not wait until they can prove it is malicious. A help desk worker should not dismiss a strange pattern just because it is inconvenient. Training builds the habit of reporting concerns early, documenting clearly, and letting the response process determine what the event really means. Tabletop exercises are discussion-based practice sessions where people walk through a realistic incident scenario and talk through what they would do. No one is expected to configure systems or execute technical steps during a tabletop. The value comes from conversation, decision-making, and discovery. A facilitator might describe a suspected ransomware event, a stolen administrator credential, a cloud storage exposure, or a vendor breach notification. Participants then explain how they would respond, who they would involve, what information they would need, and what decisions would come next. Tabletop exercises are useful because they reveal gaps before a real crisis. The organization may discover that an escalation list is outdated, a playbook is unclear, a decision owner is missing, or two teams have different assumptions about who leads the response. A good tabletop exercise feels realistic enough to make people think, but not so overwhelming that the discussion becomes chaotic. The scenario should match the organization's environment, business priorities, and likely risks. If the organization depends heavily on cloud services, then a cloud identity or storage exposure scenario may be useful. If the organization processes sensitive customer data, then a data access or data loss scenario may be more relevant. The exercise should include both technical and non-technical questions. How would the team confirm the event? What systems might be affected? Who decides whether to take a service offline? What does leadership need to know? What evidence should be preserved? How would customers, regulators, or partners be handled if notification becomes necessary? These questions help the organization practice coordination, not just technical troubleshooting. Playbooks are written guides for responding to common types of incidents. A playbook may cover phishing, ransomware, lost devices, credential theft, data exposure, web application compromise, denial of service, or malicious insider activity. The playbook gives responders a starting path so they do not have to invent the process during the incident. It may describe initial triage, evidence to collect, systems to check, escalation points, containment options, communication requirements, and recovery considerations. A playbook should be clear enough to guide action, but flexible enough to handle real-world variation. Incidents rarely match the document perfectly. A good playbook does not replace thinking. It supports thinking by reminding the team of important steps, common risks, and decisions that should not be forgotten under pressure. Playbooks need ownership and maintenance. A playbook written once and ignored can become dangerous if it points to old tools, old contacts, retired systems, or outdated approval paths. Response processes should be reviewed after exercises, after real incidents, and after major changes in the environment. If the organization adopts a new cloud platform, changes its identity provider, replaces an endpoint tool, or reorganizes teams, the playbooks may need updates. A playbook should also match the organization's authority model. It should be clear who can isolate a device, disable an account, contact a vendor, approve public communication, or preserve legal evidence. Without that clarity, responders may delay because they are unsure whether they are allowed to act. The best playbooks are living documents that improve as the organization learns. Simulations are more active forms of practice that test response capabilities in a more realistic way. A simulation may involve test alerts, mock phishing reports, controlled technical events, or coordinated exercises that require people to use actual tools and response channels. Unlike a tabletop, a simulation may ask participants to perform tasks, gather evidence, open tickets, communicate status, or make timed decisions. The point is not to surprise or embarrass people. The point is to see whether the response process works when activity feels closer to reality. Simulations can reveal problems that discussion alone may miss. A contact list may look fine on paper but fail when a notification system is unavailable. A tool may be documented in a playbook but not accessible to the people expected to use it. Simulations should be planned carefully because they can affect trust, operations, and safety if handled poorly. The organization should define the goal of the exercise, the systems involved, the people who know it is happening, and the boundaries that keep it from causing harm. A phishing simulation, for example, should teach reporting habits without humiliating people. A technical simulation should avoid disrupting production systems unless that risk is explicitly accepted and controlled. After the simulation, the most valuable part is the review. What worked well? What slowed the team down? Were alerts noticed? Did escalation happen on time? Did the right people receive clear information? Did anyone lack access to a needed tool or record? The answers help improve training, playbooks, communication plans, and technical readiness. Communication plans are essential because incidents create information pressure. Different people need different information at different times. Security responders need technical details. Leaders need impact, risk, and decision points. Legal staff may need facts related to evidence, notification, and obligations. Human resources, HR, may become involved if employee conduct is part of the issue. Public relations, PR, may help with external messaging if customers, partners, or the public are affected. Information technology, IT, operations teams may need to restore systems or apply changes. A communication plan defines who communicates, what channels are used, how status is shared, and what information should be protected. Without a plan, people may send incomplete, conflicting, or sensitive details through the wrong channels. Escalation paths define how an event moves from initial concern to higher levels of response. Not every alert is a major incident, and not every user report requires leadership involvement. Escalation criteria help people decide when an issue needs more attention. Criteria may include sensitive data exposure, privileged account compromise, active malware spread, public service disruption, legal or regulatory implications, high-value system involvement, or confirmed unauthorized access. Escalation paths should identify who receives the information, how quickly they should be notified, and what decisions they are expected to make. This keeps a serious event from sitting too long with someone who lacks the authority or context to act. It also prevents over-escalation, where every minor issue becomes an emergency and people stop trusting the process. Defined roles make incident response more organized because people know what responsibility they carry before the incident begins. A response team may include an incident commander, technical investigators, communications leads, legal advisors, system owners, business representatives, and recovery leads. The incident commander coordinates the response and keeps the process moving. Investigators collect and analyze evidence. System owners explain how affected systems work and what business impact may result from changes. Communications leads manage internal and external messaging. Legal staff advise on evidence, privilege, contracts, and notification obligations. Recovery leads help return systems to normal operation. In small organizations, one person may hold more than one role, but the responsibilities still need to be understood. Clear roles reduce duplicated effort, missed tasks, and conflicting decisions. Preparation also includes making sure the response team has the resources it needs. Contact lists should be current. Access to logging, endpoint tools, cloud consoles, ticketing systems, and documentation should be ready before an incident begins. Evidence storage should be available and protected. Backup communication methods should exist in case email, chat, or identity services are affected. Vendor support contacts, cyber insurance contacts, outside counsel, and incident response partners may need to be documented ahead of time. The team should know where playbooks are stored and how to reach them during an outage. These details may sound ordinary, but they become critical during a high-pressure event. Preparation is often the difference between a team that can act immediately and a team that spends valuable time searching for basics. The main takeaway is that incident response preparation is the quiet work that makes a visible response possible. Training helps people recognize and report concerns, understand their responsibilities, and avoid avoidable mistakes. Tabletop exercises let teams practice decisions and coordination through realistic discussion. Playbooks give responders a clear starting path for common incident types. Simulations test whether the process works when people must use tools, channels, and time-sensitive judgment. Communication plans help the right people receive the right information without exposing sensitive details unnecessarily. Escalation paths make sure serious events reach decision-makers quickly. Defined roles reduce confusion when pressure is high. Strong preparation does not guarantee an incident will be easy, but it gives you a better chance to respond calmly, preserve evidence, protect operations, and learn from what happened.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit DailyCyber.News.